I'm really from Colchester Institute. The quangle wangle is it's an extended joke that I won't go into. This will lead you to quangle wangle, which is where the slides are, if you want to pick the slides up. Can Moodle do it all? And should it? And why should it? That's what we're going to gallop through in 20 minutes. And I'm going to, as all these things are, I'm going to break all the rules of good teaching, kill you with PowerPoint slides, with no interaction, and it's not broken up and all that stuff, but there's no other way of doing it, really. This is me. Introduction, outline of what we're going to do. Some reasons why I think Moodle should do it all. We're beginning to get some take-up, but there's a huge number of people who are resistant. I think there's a quality gain, and I'll go into that more when I talk about it. And I think if it did it all, we could introduce a bit more transparency, which would be a good thing. I want to talk a little bit about what doing it all means, or what I think it means, and how to do it all, and then come back to some almost sales talk at the end. Why it is I think you should do it. The context of this, which is really my view of the world, I teach HE in an FE institution. I teach on an honours degree course, but it's delivered in a further education, technical college type of setup. And I also teach FE, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, level 2, level 3. So I teach quite a wide range of ability. Okay, I think we have I perceive a problem, certainly from my context, that there is a lack of take-up by what I'm going to call the late majority, what is called the late majority. Now, I think we all know that the pressures for increase due to productivity are not going to decrease. We're going to have to do more with less. The fortunate ones of us are going to have to do more with the same amount, but I think the reality is we're probably going to have to do more with less. And at the same time, we're going to have to increase pressure for high and, moreover, consistent course quality at the same time. Those pressures are not going to relent. Our contact time is not going to go up, and our administration and other non-contact time is not going to go up either. We can argue about whether this is right or wrong, but I think the reality is that's what's going to happen. I don't think any of us need convincing that, I don't think any of us, and the stress is on us, need convincing that Moodle can help with these issues. But there are colleagues out there, I certainly know of them, and I'm sure my institution's not unique. There are colleagues out there who remain to be convinced. And in dealing with these colleagues, I'm just going to, this is a sidebar. If I was writing a magazine article, it would be in grey down the side of the page. Triage is a way of kind of applying slender resources to a problem you need to solve quickly. There are those who are going to do the right thing. There are those amongst our colleagues who are going to do the right thing, whatever. Right. There are those who are going to live in a kind of battlefield medicine situation, whatever you do. Oop, that didn't work. There are those who are going to never do the right thing, whatever you do. And there were those who were going to respond positively to treatment. You don't bother about the first two. You can't affect the first two. They're either going to live or they're going to die. But we can spend some time looking at the last one, because those are the people who will respond to our treatment, if you like, our attention. This is a classic view of the same situation. innovators, early adopters, early majority. The innovators, that's us. You haven't got to worry about us. We're going to do the right thing. We're here doing the right thing now. We don't need extra hours for it or whatever. We're committed. There are those who are going to never do it. I mean, over my dead body, it's not really a caricature. There are people like that about. I know some people like that. Don't worry about them. Forget them. You'll blunt your pick. The people we need to deal with are the late majority. These are the people who need convincing, I believe. If Moodle's going to realise its potential, its real potential, it's not us we need to convince. We're all here talking to one another. This is fine. It's very comfortable. It's not us we need to convince. It's the late majority. But they raise objections. Well, it's just another thing to do. You've just given me something else to do. I haven't been trained. You can put on training, and I haven't been trained is code for I don't want to do it. It doesn't mean I haven't been trained. Will I get extra hours for it? No, of course not. Get over it. I've just in an earlier slide dealt with the current situation. Nobody's going to get extra hours for anything. Will I get extra hours for it? Well, we can deal with that, actually. And this is where doing it all comes in. No, you won't get extra hours for it. But if you follow the guidelines, you may not have to do, you probably won't have to do, a separate scheme of work and a separate lesson plan. These are quite big ticket items if you do it properly. And if we can give the late majority something back, we may be able to encourage adoption. Separate assessment online is quick and easy. It can be. There are some issues there. I think this is an issue Moodle has to deal with. But let's lie to them for a moment and say it's quick and easy. It's probably quicker than and easier than carrying huge bundles of scripts home on the back of your bike. And you won't need to keep separate records. This is another big ticket item. Record keeping, if it was done in and of itself, these are all things we could give back to people in exchange for the effort they would have to put in to adopting Moodle. Should it do it all? There's write-only documents, analogous to read-only memory, where you just read it, you never change it. There are write-only documents. These are documents that you write and never read again. And I think many session plans, where they exist at all, are write-only documents. They're written, and that's all. And I think most schemes of work are the same, if we're honest. And we're amongst friends, we can be honest. I think they're written and then seldom looked at again. They're got out for inspection, observation, high days and holidays, and that's probably all. If the Moodle course were, in and of itself, the session plans and the scheme of work, then there would be a huge quality gain, because what would be being delivered would accord much more closely with what was being documented. The Moodle course would be the document. And then you couldn't avoid the document being what was delivered, because there it is. That's what you're doing in the session. This kind of authenticity it seems to me to be a huge quality gain. It would be more transparent. This is related in a way. By sharing the scheme of work, and I do this, my scheme of work is the Moodle course. My session plans are the Moodle sessions. By sharing that with learners right from the beginning, no closed eye, and those of you who are Moodle practitioners, nothing's hidden. That avoids this kind of, I'm going to teach you something, but I'm not going to do it yet. Right, there. In my time, under my control, I've given it to you. If you share it all with them at the beginning, there's a degree of respect there for them. You've respected their learning style, the speed at which they want to go, and there it is in the course. I'm calling that transparency. What's already there? Well, scheme of work, session dates are there in Moodle, topic headings are there, milestones, hand-ins, handbacks, calendar. Moodle has mechanisms for these. It would be nice if there was a widget that, or a block, I'm not sure of the terminology, if you could simply say scheme of work and have it extract all these pieces of information which were already in the course and headed up scheme of work. Perhaps you can. People are going to tell me afterwards, oh, you can do that. But if you can, I didn't know. Online assessment is, this is kind of clunky. We, in BTEC, EdXL, level 3 kind of environment, criteria-based, pass, merit, distinction, resubmit until achieved, complex grade rules. I can do that in Moodle. Few of my colleagues can. It needs me to really work at that. It's kind of clunky. And when it comes to assessment, there's almost no workflow support. If you've got 60 assignments to mark, they're coming at you from different units and different stages of completion and resubmission. There's very little in the way of workflow. I had some students, half a dozen students, put a stopwatch on me for half an hour, and they came to the conclusion that I spent about 55% of my time actually marking, the other 45% navigating. And I know how to do it. So there's a way to go there. So that's one of the things that needs to be added. In the session plan, we can do this now. Session plans call for resources, tutor activities, objectives, differentiation, and so on. It's possible to do that now in quite a natural way as narrative text in the in labels. And I've got some, I'm not sure how well this will come out. This is a typical session to which some of these things have been added. We've put resources up here. Learners, bring your memory stick. Tutor, spare memory sticks. This could be in the session plan in a very kind of dry, bullet point way, and only I would have it. But if we put it up there, I have it, tells me to bring the memory sticks, and the learners have it also. It's transparent, and it is a lesson plan. It doesn't look like a lesson plan necessarily. The timings on here, objectives. You can get everything that's on the Common Inspection Framework that you need in a lesson plan into narrative text in the session. You show it to the learners so they know what's coming, and it's there, and you can call it a lesson plan, because that's what it is. A couple more examples here. For differentiation, you can flag up challenges. All our challenges are low in salt and sugar, so they're quite healthy. Rather than simply having a bullet point in the lesson plan, extension task, challenge, it's there for everyone to see, and you can make it fairly kind of charismatic and understandable. If you're going to do this, take your local quality folks along with you. You don't want to go to this effort and end up getting tarred and feathered for not producing your quality documents in the accepted format. It's possible to do this. You have to take it as a management of change issue, and all the things you would normally do for management of change. You have to influence the quality folks. You have to involve them as you go along. If all else fails, you have to infiltrate the quality organisation so that you can do it from within. if you get into your local quality setup, they'll buy into the fact that this rather strange-looking Moodle course is a scheme of work. It's not a copy of the scheme of work, it is the scheme of work. The sessions are the session plan. If you can get an outstanding lesson or two with no separate session plan or scheme of work, then you've got them. I've been through this mill, and even though the observer was really not a Moodle user, ticked it, got the grade 1 box, and so now the quality folks are okay. I even went as far as becoming an Edexcel lead internal verifier, which is kind of jargon that some of you may understand, to overcome the problem of assessment online. We don't have a problem with assessment online now because I'm the lead internal verifier, and that deals with that one. A fully integrated course, and by fully integrated I mean a course in a box, and this is perhaps taking things a little bit further and maybe controversial. It would allow us to become, it would allow more specialisation. Not everyone is a good course creator. Not everyone is a good course deliverer. Few people are good at both. If courses could be made all in one, if they could become a commodity, you could say, here's a course, the whole bang shoot, go teach it. We could address some of the productivity issues I raised early on. We could even, extrapolating further, envisage exchange, and exchange, of course, this is now a commodity, perhaps even a market, if that's not, politically, not too politically loaded, a word. We would get economies of scale. I dare say when I sit down and compose my Unit 16 Edexcel procedural programming course, I'm doing so along with 800 other people in the country. What a waste. I think we're in a kind of hunter-gatherer type economy. We're all doing our own thing. We exchange ideas at a kind of broad level like this. Those of us who were early adopters, if you like, but we haven't yet established a kind of mature course industry with specialisation, commoditisation, free exchange of courses. And I think that's possible, and I think it's where we need to go if we're going to mature away from this becoming a kind of slightly geeky undertaking. We need, I think, a period of stabilisation, and it needs to become slightly more corporate. I hate saying that. I mean, I'm a worn-out developer. I love tinkering with the innards, but I don't think it's going to do us any good over the next few years to concentrate on that. So that's me. How am I for time? Oh, you can say that again. Yeah, yeah. I think we do. I think we do.
We've got about 2 or 3 minutes for questions.
Are you going to choose them or do I? You're the facilitator. Go on. You need to shout. I'm partly deaf. Oh. Someone's got to break the ground. We'll see. Yeah. I've spoken to inspectors about this, and you won't get a straight answer. But the answers are usually along the lines of, there needs to be a document. It needs to cover these issues. The format isn't set in stone. Well, that sounds like a yes to me. As I say, I don't blame me if you do it and get tarred and feathered. I think that's right. If you've covered the points and you have a document, if it turned out that they objected, I think you could go into bat against that. I think that's a fair point. And they probably need to come out with a policy and say so, in so many words. Yeah. 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 And in any quality scheme, one of the, quality 101 is you don't have two documents describing the same thing. There needs to be a document. And we've got a damn document. We don't need a second one, particularly when they're going to be different.
But with respect, Peter, that also means that the Ofsted inspectors or the inspectorate of any kind need to understand that. I think, sadly, they're maybe not at that the point themselves. So I think we're in a little bit of a catch-22
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be handing them the tar and the feathers. That's a middle ground between
Yeah.
I think.
Well, the straws in the wind, people reading the entrails say we're going to be inspected next year, and I'm going to do this, I'll let you know.
That'd be great.
I actually work for an awarding organisation. I was at the assessment conference a few weeks ago, and I think they're playing your hand off, to be honest.
We certainly will. Absolutely, but on the flip side, our Ofsted inspectors came in, slightly, again, different sectors, and I've worked in both, so I think that's maybe where the secondary sector, they're a bit still in their shorts.
Yeah. But if we can't do it, and it's my assertion we're the left-hand end of the adoption curve, I think we need to show some intellectual bravery here. If we can't do it, no one else is going to. No, we've always been with EDIC, I think. I'm not a long-serving teacher. I've only been doing it. My lack of respect for the the whole organisational structure probably shows. I'm really a developer. I've only been teaching a few years, so I can't tell you really the history of Colchester Institute, but I don't think so. I think we've always been with EDIC. Sir.
So at the end you said we need a course industry and that we need to be corporate. Should we not be open source?
I don't see that there. I think you shouldn't choose the mechanism, you should choose the result. When you go out to buy a car, you don't say, hopefully, you don't say, I want a Volkswagen. You say, I want a car that has this number of blobs in this row, this number of blobs in this row. You have a kind of set of requirements, and then you buy it. If it happens to be a Volkswagen, that's very nice. What open source provides some of those blobs. It provides low cost, it provides transparency.
I don't think a course you're going to teach is like a car. I think maybe it's more like decorating your home or creating your garden.
So are you saying...
I'm saying it's not a completely packaged product.
No.
Tailored to your situation.
Yes,
So
yeah. But
you might
I agree.
Decorate, you might do it yourself. But you might do it yourself using professional... I don't really know what I'm saying.
I think actually it's obviously a really hot topic, and I mean I think after the sessions are finished, I mean you'll probably tweet the fat in terms of where
Yeah.
to go with
Yeah.
to work. I mean certainly I think as an organisation it's something whatever organisation you are, I would have thought that if you're using Moodle and if you can replicate schemes of work across the board, so each tutor isn't having to do it, I think then it's a step forward. I just want to thank Peter again for coming and
Thank you.